saw this boy get drilled in the gonads on the pitch, and his voice went high, and I went high with him because I was like, that had to hurt. When I saw him get that picture drilled him in the nuts, I said, I'm not doing this. It doesn't make any sense for somebody to be throwing a ball to me and they can hit me in my nuts. And I was a little kid at that time. And for that right there told me I didn't want to do it.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Not Just Another Sports Show. And to all of you who've been with us for the longest and on this run, that stands for No Jazz, N-O-J-A-S-S. And to open up, let's make sure you follow us. And thank you. Thank you. All the new subscribers. We see you chiming in. But definitely make sure you follow us on YouTube at No Jazz Show. That's N-O-J-A-S-H-O-W Show. On Instagram at N-O.J.A.S.S. Facebook on the No Jazz Show fan page that we have. And also that same name, No Jazz Show, on TikTok and X. We love you and we thank you so much for subscribing. And make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you comment. Make sure you share. Make sure you email us at nojazzshow@gmail. All of the above, because it's been good. I'm asking you to do that because it looks as if me being a Miami Hurricane fan and a Dallas Cowboy fan, I'll have time to answer those emails. And I'll have time to, do a lot of that other stuff because I probably won't be having too much more football to go in a few weeks. And my colleague to the right, for all you know him, he is Tank, my right-hand man. I don't necessarily consider him my co-host, but, just to be politically correct, he is my co-host, but he's kind of becoming my brag host. He's been bragging a lot the last few days. But let me tell you before I introduce, go ahead and tell the people hello, Tank, and then I got to jump back in.
How's everybody doing out there? And I need to send a special shout out to how y'all doing, Still a Nation.
Yeah, most definitely. How y'all doing, Still a Nation? Because I need you all to handle business in the Pennsylvania Classic this weekend. And this will be like, it kind of is an area where we're looking at who might be the arguably best team in football, after this weekend, because Pittsburgh has been doing their thing.
Yes, we have.
Philly has been Philly. Like, regardless of anything, Philly is going to always have their ups and downs, bumps in the road. Internally, we're going to get into that. But they do figure out how to win. And it catches up with them in the end, because I've always said Philly will Philly. Or Eagles, the Eagles will Eagle. And hopefully the Eagles will Eagle this weekend. But before we go into that, top news, breaking. And this is up for discussion right now. We have the one and only, yes, you heard it, former New England Patriot champion head football coach Bill Belichick has signed. Well, it's still in negotiations, but it looks like it's pretty much locked in. He will be signing as the new head football coach for the University of North Carolina. And my question for the panel, for the group, for Tank, for the listeners, viewers, what does this mean for college football? What does this mean for the ACC? What does this mean for Bill? Is this a good fit? A whole lot of things. So I'm just going to turn it over to you, Tank. You tell me what's going on. Tell me how you feel about this hire.
Well, they're saying it's a 5-year deal. So I'd be curious to find out how much he's going to be getting paid per year. So I got to get feedback. But he's 72. I'm not gung-ho on hiring a 72-year-old coach who has never coached in college before. And not only that, stepping into it for the first time in this new era of college, where it's really turned into a farm league or amateur league for the NFL. He's going to have to deal with students, recruiting, NIL, kids who decide, hey, I'm not getting enough playing time. I'm going to hold myself out and I'm entering the portal. I want to get red-shirted. Star quarterback has an issue, and now he's not eligible. So now you got to put in somebody else. I'm not sure how he's going to navigate it. But for the ACC, it does bring a spotlight because he is arguably the greatest coach in NFL history. And he can do this one thing when he's recruiting. I'm not sure, again, I'm not sure how he's going to work with basically sucking up to an 18-year-old and his parents about trying to get him to come to Chapel Hill. But he can do this. He can hold up four fingers. Eight fingers with rings on. Six as the head coach in New England, and two as the defensive coordinator with the Giants. And he can say, look, I have a pipeline and I can get you ready for the NFL. I believe that he's going to probably attack this as if he's coaching in the NFL. Because that's all he knows. And in order to get kids to want to come and play for him at his age, he's got to sell them on, hey, I know how to get you to the NFL. And I got 8 rings to prove it.
Hey, I'm going to segue off of your 8 rings point, because college football to me is, I don't care how you did in the NFL. If you do well in the NFL, as you move on, I'm talking from a player standpoint. If you're a college great, that legacy goes on forever, right? No one is holding Bear Bryant. No one is holding anything against Bear Bryant, Bobby Bowden, who else? Osborne. These are coaches who were great college coaches, and their name gets mentioned with greatest coaches of all time. Eddie Robinson, Jake Gaither. Then you have another echelon of coaches, Jimmy Johnson, Pete Carroll, who had the success, and that's because you have coaches who transitioned and didn't have the success in college, and then do it in the NFL. And so that's another level. And I've never seen anyone backtrack from the success of the NFL. I'm not saying backtrack from coaching in the NFL and go to the college, but backtrack from the success of the NFL back to college looking for success. So I think at 72 years old in this new era of football, I think he's set outside of football. And I'm going to say I hope. And he's going to allow us to believe that we know what goes on in college football and we know what he's going to do. But I think we have a 72-year-old man that has retired, realized in being an analyst that he was kind of out of touch with those players, even on a professional level. So he knows he's going to be out of touch with those players on a collegiate level. And he sees that they're spoiled. And so I think he might be more 5 years, I'm going to deal with the alumni, president, the speaker engaging personality coach for the campus itself. But I'm going to sit on these 8 rings to market this pyramid that I have set up for my son for whom is in that contract saying he's going to be the predecessor after me, to really be the one kind of playing that role of what Jimbo Fisher played and a lot of people under Bobby Bowden played for a few years. Is you're really the recruiter. You're really the one going out getting these kids. I'm just the face, and I have all of these old established people who don't know how to fire me. And I'm going to maintain this until we're prepared, or I just really get sick of this, or you get so sick of me, or I die and I go. I'm thinking his mindset after sitting out of football itself for so long is what's going on, because I don't necessarily feel you can keep the Patriot way in college.
No, you can't.
I don't think you can. And then on top of that, what I do see him doing though is one thing I can say. He can definitely put together a staff. And as a fan of the University of Miami Hurricanes, who play in the ACC, and I'm seeing SMU come up, and we discussed all of that. That is the one thing that I am definitely watching out for. He's going to have the most prepared staff on Saturday, because those are men. And then those men in that generation are going to be able to reach the boys with Belichick's message, because Belichick can deliver the message to the staff.
Okay. I can see that. But I want to see how he's going to navigate. These are still students where you only get them a certain amount of time per week. You're not going to have the OTAs. You're not going to have, hey, I need you to come in early to do this. Because they're actually supposedly in the going to class.
Right.
So he's got to try to really juggle two parts of their life. The life as a student and the life as an athlete and as a young adult coming into their own. And how hands-on or hands-off is he going to be or be able to be?
Part to whole, because my concern with him is he's a very stoic individual, and he's a generation or two above their parents.
Yeah.
And he has to sell himself to their parents to get them to go play on Chapel Hill. The one good thing about Chapel Hill is, up until, is it Hubert Davis, the basketball coach? Their whole program with the basketball coaches, they've always had an older figure that stood for those students, but that's still 11 guys on the bench, 13 guys on the bench is still not a 100-man roster. But I will say this, going off your point, you're not dealing with that much of a life outside of football because you're not having family issues. So you can cut some time off of that. 11 games is not 17 or 16. So you can cut some time off of that. Preparation on their own, as far as no OTAs, everyone has kind of built these campuses to where the stadium, the facilities, your classes, that's the new age right now since about 2005. All right there. So once he gets acclimated to that, he'll see that the level of excuse that the kids have, as far as I'm way over here in my class over here, and then his persona, at least for the first 2 years, what he's bringing to the table, I'm almost certain that the institution itself, faculty and staff, and there may be one, is going to gravitate towards Bill and make sure Bill has the success that he needs from his students, where they're not giving those excuses, because there might be some grading on the curve, if you know what I mean, for some guys, to get where they're going. So I think you're right, but I do believe, there's going to be some give and take, and then if there's a level of success, he's going to be able to get a little bit more. And that's what I say about it. It's going to be very interesting, because we all know Bill, and that's all we can give you is we know what Bill is.
Yeah, I'm curious as to see how it's going to work. It's going to be interesting. Definitely.
It's definitely going to be interesting. And shout out to the ACC, and shout out to Bill for gauging and understanding, because I believe, and I do honestly believe that there were some SEC staffs and teams that wanted Bill as well, but Bill kind of knew the opportunity for success in the ACC, and it's not saying one conference is better than the other, but when you look at it, the opportunity for success in the ACC might be better
and quicker
than the SEC. So, I think he's done his homework. Now he has to go implement his plan. Now, speaking of the ACC versus the SEC, the college football playoff selection did go in, and the seedings went in by rule. All of the conference champions, when they won the conference game, went in. I don't like that rule per se. I kind of like it, but I don't. I'll get into that. And everyone else had their selection. So, after looking at the selections, did they get it right to you, Tank?
I think they did. And I am definitely glad that all the conference champions got in. And, of course, Notre Dame got the at-large bid. And their record can justify why they got it.
They've always gotten an at-large bid.
Yeah. And, come over there, 11-1.
Yeah. They would have got it at 10-2.
Yeah. So I think they got it right. I'm looking forward to the matchups. And from a nostalgic standpoint and being in the desert for 40 years, I'm glad to see SMU actually made the playoffs. Because
redemption.
Anybody who knows that program been through hell. And I mean, it was overkill back then, and now but just to see them back, it was nice to see. Even if they get blown out by Clemson. Not by Clemson. Even if they get blown out in the playoffs. The fact that they made it is a good thing.
Gift and a curse, and I'm gonna let you finish. Gift and a curse, and a gift to me, because I'm happy they made it due to the history of what's happening at SMU. I'm glad they didn't win the ACC, because we wouldn't have heard the last of that, having not won the ACC.
Yeah.
Clemson still has its hold on the ACC with what they did, but I'm not against what I saw.
Yeah. And I think they got some good matchups, and the thing lets you know that anything that needs to be done for the betterment of college football, the NCAA can do it if they decide, if they want to. Because for years and years, we've been saying, hey, they need to have a playoff. And they were always, we can't have the playoffs because it's going to affect the students and this, that, and other. And all along, well, it's FBS now, but it used to be 1AA for like, hey, 1AA has playoffs every year. And it hasn't caused anything. It hasn't ruined anything. You could do the playoffs in December, and those bowl games could also be part of the playoffs. You're not going to lose the bowl games.
January, exactly.
And now the light bulb finally went off that, hey, we can do playoffs starting in December, and we can have the bowl games as part of the playoffs in January, and then have an extra game, and still make a whole lot more money.
Did you kind of watch how Big Brother played his part in that too? Like
on the NFL,
the NFL slowly got us used to way after January 20th Super Bowls. You notice that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they made it seem like they were making it more room for the 17 game season. No, they wanted that gap between a eventual college football playoff and the Super Bowl. And then another part that Big Brother played is, notice how they strategically got all of the stadiums in the regions for which, I'm talking about the NFL stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
All of the stadiums in the regions for which those championship style games and semifinals conference, whatever there will be played. You know, they got their Mercedes together. They got their AT&T together. You know, they got their part of that. They got their part of that revenue together and say, okay, we're gonna let y'all have the first rounds home. You know, so I was kind of watching how that manipulated itself. Now, I will not be a hater and say they didn't get it right, but they didn't get it. And what I mean by that is, I just don't think you leave out all 4 of your Heisman hopefuls. You know what I mean? Like I think there's a, and maybe I'm going too far.
Boise has got one in there.
Who's that?
Boise is in there.
No. You don't leave out none of them. You put Genty in. Dylan is an arrogant quarterback. Dylan.
Yeah.
And then your best 2 quarterbacks in the nation, Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward. Like, there should have been some kind of wild card, a play-in for them.
No. You can't do that.
And you can disagree, but you think there are going to be some good matchups? You tell me. I want you to keep that nah you said. All right?
Okay.
You tell me a more watched game, even including the college football championship, that would have been more watched than Colorado versus Miami this year. Tell me one. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Think the matchup.
You are not going to see a matchup that would have given college football, win or lose, whatever round. You are not going to see a matchup that would give college football the magnitude than those 2 guys who are your most NFL ready quarterbacks, your most prolific, as what they're selling him to be, in Hunter, 2-sided player in college football, with the history, with the coaches on the SAP and Damian on the Colorado side, coming from Florida, Texas. I think they dropped the ball with that. And you got to figure out how to manipulate that, because the quarterback playing college football is trash.
Neither one of them won their conference, nor did they play in the conference championship. So how would you validate them going?
You validate it by quality of play, because the quarterbacks are trash. Every quarterback you're about to see in the college football playoff, that quarterback play in the college football playoff, you are looking at the elite of the elite who won. I'm gonna give you a few wishbone guys. I'm gonna give you a few old school college players, but you're supposed to be looking at the guys who are, especially by the time we make it to the second round championship game, even like if we go back to the 4 game. I want to be looking at the guy for whom going to be a high draft pick, and I'm going to see him on the next level. I'm not going to see that. Thank God Alabama ain't in there. They're not going to give me that. That Clemson quarterback not going to give me that.
But you got to win enough games in order to get in there.
I get all of that, but the way they are expressing themselves with 2 and 3 losses, and all that stuff. Like, I'm not going to say take out the conference championship game, but if they didn't have the conference championship game and you made it in there by record, like the NFL does, both of them end up playing first round wild card weekend games, don't they? Yes, they do. And you got the best quarterbacks, NFL ready, and you're going to have them in the Pop-Tart Bowl, and they're playing BYU.
Yeah.
And Travis Hunter's in that game too.
College football dropped off. You got to take care of your business on the field. They didn't do it.
I get it.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I'm not arguing from that point. I'm arguing from a revenue standpoint. You know, I'm talking from a revenue standpoint. Monetarily, there's not going to be a game that would have been greater build than seeing those two match up at least some way, form, or fashion. And I believe they didn't put them in a bowl game because they know they didn't want to embarrass themselves by having that game show up in a championship game. I don't care who's in a championship game; those ratings would not have busted them. It just wouldn't have. It was a Arizona State. Arizona State.
Arizona State will be out of it real soon.
Arizona State? Who watching Arizona State?
Hey, the Sun Devil faithful will be watching.
Oh, wait a minute. Penn State?
Penn State travels.
You know what? Let me tell you something about Penn State. Because I'm always the one, getting on you about the segues. Let me tell you something about Penn State. For my Dallas Cowboys, I had 2 Penn State. One pouting on the sideline and one botching a fumble. That's what I feel about Penn State. I thought PSU guys had brains. You know what? I'm sorry about that. Shout out to my boy Marcus. And his wife Regina, Plant City, Florida. Shout out Zane. Zane, you play for Penn State. I have a niece. I have twin nieces and twin nephew that play for Penn State. I'm sorry. But man, anyway. I just kind of wanted to get that in there because I didn't want to talk about it.
Talking about manipulating.
Man, speaking of manipulation, that rhymes with inflation. We got a baseball player, Soto, broke the bank.
He purged the system.
He purged the system. Oh my goodness. Is that a potential bargain per year at $51 million? And I got something to say about that. You go ahead, Tank.
Well, we all know when they sign these players to these contracts, they're doing it because they know they're getting a return on investment, and they know they're making a whole lot more than what they're paying out. Because everybody's looking at the $756 million.
Yes, indeed.
Wow, that's a lot. But it's $51 million a year, which is a lot. But it's over the course of 15 years. If he pans out to be as good as they expect him to be, let's say by year 6
or 7,
or
right?
7,
I agree.
51 million. He's going to be like Patrick Mahomes and underpaid. They can say he's underpaid. Like, man, he's a bargain. It is 51 million because somebody else is going to be making more than that per year.
Jose Acuna is not getting bucks like that, but he should be. Yeah. But they signed him so early till it's a bargain now on the rookie contract. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so they're planning out ahead. And think about it. You signing out for 15 years, you got them locked up. Unless you mutually decide, hey, we don't want to do this anymore. So they know for the next 15 years, their position is locked down by Soto. Yeah. They know that it's locked down.
Well, he definitely on the yellow brick road right now.
Yeah. So he's not worried about anything. They're not worried about anything. They can go out and do whatever else they need to do with their other money. And baseball sounds like they got a hard cap anyway. So I think it's a bargain for them, particularly in the future. And for him, year 14, I'm still making $51 million. I done made almost $1 billion since I've been here. Why am I complaining? He's not going to be complaining about, hey, I need more money. Because it works out for both sides.
I mean, and it's
man, I should listen to my granddaddy.
He may look down the bench one day and be like, that young joker getting. But then again, there's a possibility in his 7th year, he begins to decline. And it's overpaid.
Yeah. And ain't nothing you can do about it.
And ain't nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I should listen to my granddad when he said play baseball.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm glad you said that because that's not my segue, but it's going to go into the question about potential on the bench. But when your granddaddy said play baseball, I want to go back to what we were talking about with Colorado right fast because I really want your opinion on this. And this almost should have been my closing statement, but I'm gonna bring it up now because Tank brought up his great grandfather, not his great grandfather, but his grandfather that was great. Prime Deion Sanders has the DNA of, and we grew up watching this. He has the DNA in him of a baseball player, track star, basketball star, high school, football star, quarterback in high school. We are seeing Shador, to a degree, take bits and pieces of that DNA, and where he is at the epitome of college football, he's raised his bar to Pop's level. And there might be a little bit of, I've watched Big Brother and I've watched Middle Brother. So the youngest should always kind of, mellow ball his way to the top. But in this instance, I want to get by Prime, and I want to say, hey Prime, Shiloh's 6'2", run a 4.58. Because we don't talk about Shiloh as much as we Travis Hunter and Shador.
You never mentioned.
Right. Mike Trout runs a 6.08 Mike Trout is the third highest player, even with Soto, in Major League Baseball. So I always wondered if Prime ever thought, man, I need to get Shiloh in a batting cage. Because he would have been that deal. I believe the DNA is in him. Baseball, you just need the reps. So sometimes we have a love for baseball, basketball. From an urban standpoint, it's a very instant gratification sport. It's right there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to work your way up to get there. I mean, football, basketball. But baseball, not that very instant gratification. The girls know you're an athlete, but they don't love you like they love the football player and the basketball player.
Right.
But when you get to be an adult and you make it professional, and I will put this in there too, auto racers and baseball players, soccer players, y'all the man. So there are some soccer players out there who are on the football field. There are some baseball players out there who are on the football field. And you don't really understand that your third string in football and your third string or your second string in basketball or your D2 scholarship or your Division I AA scholarship or your FCS or FBS scholarship or your HBCU scholarship is a Division I scholarship in another sport. Why can't we find that out, Tank? Why can't you listen to your granddaddy?
First and foremost, I didn't like baseball. I was playing because at that age, my mom didn't want me playing football. And I didn't like baseball at all. Now, only thing I liked was hitting and running bases. I didn't like any other stuff. I didn't like the lack of, I didn't like there was no contact. And what really made me decide that I didn't want to play baseball ever again, I saw this boy get drilled in the gonads on the pitch, and his voice went high, and I went high with him because I was like, that had to hurt. When I saw him get that pitcher drilled him in the nuts, I said, I'm not doing this. It doesn't make any sense for somebody to be throwing the ball at me, and they can hit me in my nuts. And I was a little kid at that time. And for that right there told me I didn't want to do it. But also, depending on what you like to do. If you like contact and you like a lot of action, baseball's not going to get it for you. And it's something that we always looked at it before as the less athletic would play baseball.
But you can't be a fat man making $30 million.
Yeah, I had a cousin when he was 12. He was 6'3", 280 pounds. Asked me what position on the line, offensive or defensive line, he was playing. None, because he wanted to play baseball.
So he wanted to be Cecil Felder.
Yeah. When he hit the ball, it either needed to go over the fence or he could hit right to the dugout because he couldn't get to the base.
So he needed to be a slugger. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just I think also baseball because of it requires so much in order to play.
It's a money game.
Yeah. Not just that, but just the space, the equipment.
Grass
like right now.
Yeah.
Right now, I can go and get the football out of my room, go up to the school, and gather a couple of kids. Say, let's play ball. I can't do that with baseball. Oh well, I got a bat. Hey, you got a bat? I need an aluminum bat. I need this. Oh well, I need a glove. You know, it takes equipment, and then you gotta. What are we gonna do for bases? Because when I was little, you would just dig up some dirt and just run to that spot.
I got a question. Is that the I don't want to call it softness, but is that how spoiled Americans are? Because the Dominicans and the Cubans don't have any of that, and they run baseball.
Yeah, but they also don't have football and baseball either. I mean, football and basketball.
They don't have another option.
Yeah.
To say that's too much to be doing to be playing this game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not. Baseball isn't sexy. I mean, you don't really get unless you
ain't kind of sexy, man.
Unless you're a pitcher or you can slap home runs. There's nothing really alluring about baseball unless you're a special athlete. I don't like baseball. But I would watch Bo when he was playing because I could see him at the end of the track.
Related to Bo.
Throwing the ball from the deep left field, outfield to home plate. Or see him running up, literally running up the fence to snag a home run.
Which is exactly my question. It's the I'm watching the young man's personality because that's what we gravitate towards. Prime playing two sports, Bo playing two sports, Ozzie Newsome, Rod Carew. The fan, there are pure baseball people, and then there are fans. The Sammy Sosa. He has that personality where if he could have got them hips in the batting cage, and I'm not gonna say Shador as he moves along won't be $1 billion quarterback someday because they're gonna make one, but I wonder if Prime thinks about that.
Yeah, but also you look at Shador and Shallow, they are not what you would call elite quick twitch athletes.
And who in baseball is?
Yeah. But as far as saying, when you say look at what Deion did on running the bases, then you see those other two. You see his sons run. It's like, okay,
Deion can make contact with the ball, still making on base.
Yeah. Either one of them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. And it may take a little bit more work, but even in football, like Prime, and I don't want to get into this, but Prime, Michael Jordan, Bo, you can look at some guys and they're just built. God just built them differently.
Yeah.
Anyway, and everybody else kind of got to work. It's tears. There are some tears in there. Like when they're arguing Jerry Rice against Randy Moss. Randy Moss physically is still at another. Him and T.O., they're at another tier. Jerry Rice can't be what they are. Like, they don't have to practice to be Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice put in that work to be who he was. And so it's the work against that. So Prime definitely was another alien of an athlete. So his sons might not have gotten that. But so Shallow might have had to put in that work. Now, putting in work. Cause we stayed on that longer than I wanted to, but when you said that about your granddad, it made me think. Shout out to Tank's grandfather. There are some athletes that have to put in work, and they're sitting on the bench. Now everybody's not gonna come from the lineage and the royalty, because I know where you're going. But I want to hear from every level of Arch Manning, who can sit back and enjoy himself sitting behind yours and know I'm good. Like, no matter what you do, barring injury, I'm a first round draft pick, and I get to go to whatever team I want to go to in the NFL. But there are some players sitting on the bench, and the portal just opened up. When do you start looking at this talent that's sitting on the bench and say, I got to get this man in the game? And I'm talking prior to the injury of the guy on the depth chart ahead of you, forcing that into, what was my man's name? Friday Night Lights?
Booby.
Yeah,
Booby Miles.
We don't want a Booby. No, we don't want a Booby Miles situation.
Yeah, Chris
and I want to get your opinion on every level. NFL, college.
I think you need to start looking at your bench when you had your starter. Because you need to know if this guy is all of a sudden ineffective, or he gets hurt, or he needs a breather. Can we afford to literally put this guy in and lose little to nothing? So you need to, I think you need to get everybody some reps, not just in practice, but a couple of game reps. You can let a guy come out for a breather for 1 or 2 plays to put this guy in, so you can see what he's got, and also let your starter get a breather. Because you don't want to be, let's say NFL, 15 games into the season, all of a sudden your running back goes down, and you got this dude who hadn't had a single snap, and you got to put him in. You don't know what he had. We got some notes from when he was in college. But wait a minute, this dude wasn't even drafted. How did he make the team? What is he, a special teams guy? Can he actually play this position? What is he going to do in this situation? What is his strength? Did he make the team because he's a blocker? Because he can run the ball? Is he a pass catcher? Or is he just somebody taking up space? Is he a seat filler? You don't want to find that out when you're trying to make the playoffs. You want to know ahead of time. So I think you should give everybody a look, not just in practice, but in the game. And in practice, he's third string. Put him in behind the first string with the first string unit and see what he does. See if he can keep up. See if when we put him in with the starting unit, does he stand out like, man, he ain't supposed to be out there. He in the deep end of the water, he need to be in the shallow. He need to stay in the 3 feet. You don't want to find that out when the bullets are flying. Find that out beforehand. So I think you should always be looking at your bench. Just so you will know.
What if somebody on the bench more talented?
Well, you need to get in there and you work. And if you're more talented, you might be more talented, but you're better.
What does that mean?
You got more talented. You got Randy Moss, who's more talented. This is extreme. And then you got, everyone says, the best receiver ever. You got Rice. Some people would say keep Rice out there. Other people, maybe we need to put Jerry. Maybe we need to put Moss out there. If the guy who's more talented, is he putting in the work so that he gets on the field? There's something that's keeping him on the bench if he's more talented. He might not be smart. he might not be really willing to work. The one thing that he needs to get on the field is where he's lacking or unwilling to work at. But if you're more talented, I can find some way to get you on the field for a couple of plays. Remember, Thurman Thomas kept Barry on the bench. And you saw how productive Thurman was.
The production of Thurman was, I got a pass catching. Thurman was Marshall Faulk before Marshall Faulk. I got a pass catching running back. I just got a running back with Barry. So
he wasn't really catching a lot of passes.
Well, the Big 12 wasn't throwing like that.
He wasn't catching passes. But he kept Thurman on the bench. He kept him on the bench.
That could have been seniority. Like why Mac Brown didn't have Adrian Peterson. Mac Brown didn't get Adrian Peterson in Texas because, well, Cedric Benson is still doing his job. Adrian Peterson goes to Oklahoma. But was Adrian Peterson more talented than Cedric Benson?
Remember, Priest Holmes had Ricky Williams on the bench.
Priest Holmes had Ricky Williams on the bench.
Texas. So
and that's my
you
question.
You can be more talented, but still be on the bench because the guy ahead of you is better.
Miami had to deal with that a lot.
More talented. Yeah.
Because I think Willis McGahee was sitting behind Clinton Portis and Frank Gore.
Yeah, I think it was somebody else that we didn't. Who else was there? I think it was somebody else. I think Leonard Connolly might have been before them.
Connolly was a little before them. Connolly was a little before them. But Jared Payton.
Yeah.
Jared Payton was in there and DJ Williams from California. He was the number one running back in California. And this before the transfer portal, people. Segueing into that a little bit. This before the transfer portal. This is how you build depth charts in college back in the days. You're not going to start over that guy. So you go over here to the other side of the ball to get the PT. Sean Taylor was a running back coming into Sean Taylor was a running back coming into University of Miami. Trayvon Diggs was a wide receiver going into Alabama. And I don't even want to tell you that you all know the names that were there when Trayvon was there. Go to the other side of the ball, and now you're the highest paid cornerback. Like, the coaches know, and I think this is what Tank getting at. We got to be able to see who you are prior to, because we want to use you. Now, the transfer portal doesn't allow you to do that anymore, because even SMU got a lot of guys playing in the college football playoffs. Jennings, who wanted to be a wide receiver, got to SMU and realized, I'm really a running back. We could have used him this year. The one I think you're thinking about, man, it was at the tip of my tongue. Somebody, you had mentioned him, had somebody sitting on the bench. Randy Moss is at Florida State with Lavernius Cole and Peter Ward.
Yeah.
I mean, that smoking weed was why he didn't.
Yeah.
But he was third, fourth on the depth chart. I don't think that was gonna last too long. But this is what he's saying. Like, when do you look at this talent and say, hey, what's going on here? Who was what's the running back? Jamal Charles. He was at Texas behind somebody. Was he behind Ricky?
Ricky was gone before that.
It was somebody
Jamal
in between.
Charles, there was somebody else. I know who you're talking about. Who was just as
productive.
Wasn't as fast, but he was productive as hell.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where you're just kind of looking at the pipeline, like they used to say, we don't rebuild, we reload. And in order to know you're reloading, you have had to look at that. And before we go, I think in the age of the NIL, to know what you're reloading with, I think if your players are playing in a bowl game that's not in the playoffs, I think that's the pre-spring game, fast pace, where you start finding out who your guys are for next year. You played enough, you're not injured, I know you want a record unless you're very hot. I know it's your last game in college, but sit on down. Let me see what I got coming up, because this is what we need to see. And shout out to me, because I got another invention. You know me, college football playoffs, because I meant to say this on the last segment. Because this is the way to see that, is to see guys down the bench. I need you to institute the NIT version of the college football player. Now, having said all that, let's go on to the pros, man. We got some guys arguing on the bench. And does he have a valid point? A.J. Brown got into it. Got into it with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts goes back to the other segment too, because Tua Tagovailoa was sitting on the bench. But at any rate, A.J. Brown argued with Jalen Hurts as far as not necessarily. Well, it is coming down to targets, isn't it? Targets he's not getting. Yeah.
I don't think that he should have done it. He should have said it. Or he should have, if he was going to say anything, he needed to have worded it different. Because when you say passing, you automatically think he's talking about the quarterback not doing the job right. You can't throw. That's what you hear. And they might not. I don't think that's what he meant. But I believe that what he meant was we have to improve our passing attack, because if we ever get in a situation where we can't run,
and you will,
this week you have to be able.
That's what I mean. Pittsburgh had like what, top 5 rushing defense.
Yeah.
It's hard to run on them. Go ahead, but
we have to be able to be more balanced. We have to be able to throw the ball. You need to say it like that, because when you say passing, hey, my quarterback ain't no good. And truthfully, he shouldn't have said anything. And I get tired of these reporters asking these dumbass questions and trying to stir things up.
I'm going to say it like this. Hold on. I'm going to say it like this. I'm kind of glad they stirred things up, because one thing I like about Mike Tomlin, I'm not a Pittsburgh fan, but I respect the franchise, and I've always said that. And one thing I like about Coach Mike T is he doesn't need much for bulletin board talk. He really doesn't. And motivation. Because you have been tasked, because you didn't notice at the beginning of the season. You only kind of knew about one. You knew they were there, but you didn't know what you knew the names, but you didn't know what you're gonna get. You have been tasked with stopping 2 running backs that are arguably, and we're gonna get into this too, up for NFL MVP, 2,000 yards. You've been tasked with stopping them. You wanna put a stamp on them, say, hey, y'all did have a great year, but week this and week this. And I forgot y'all meet Baltimore 2 times. And week this. And the way things are going could be, all beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Mike doesn't need much. But when the reporters brought that up, I was wondering if they flew those reporters in from Pittsburgh to shake things up, because now you have the Philadelphia Eagles saying to themselves, we're going to show y'all, we're going to prove that we have a passing attack, and we're going to do all this. Okay. You don't think I'm telling my boy, former DB coach, you don't think I'm telling my boy they want to prove something this week? To shut the naysayers up? Might not be this week.
It's gonna be a good one. But I just think the players have to be a little smarter when they answer these questions.
Emotions, man.
Yeah, think first, because you just won the game. What do you think y'all need to do on offense or whatever? I don't know. We just won our 9th game in a row. Next question.
But you wouldn't take anything in a win that you would take in a loss, Tank. right?
If we lost,
remember they went through a whole season last year of excusable wins, and it caught up to them.
Yeah, but I would have just said, hey, we just won our ninth game in a row. Whatever we need to work on, we'll do it this week.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what they're going through, and I took this personally. AJ, don't argue at Jalen. Jalen is just another mediocre quarterback from the SEC. And you know who controlling his puppet strings? The same offensive coordinator that was controlling another mediocre quarterback. I should put overpaid in their adjective. Overpaid adjective in there too. Quarterback from the SEC. Your argument is with Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is what I would say in a word. You believe he's this genius, but really he's safe. He sees in Saquon the same thing he saw in Zeke. I'll just give it to this running back all the time. And my QB doesn't have to do much for me. When he finds that safety net and your running back and your tight end, Mike T, listen to what I'm saying. Because tight end finna get a lot of balls too. AJ ain't getting them balls. That's just Kellen Moore, man. I know this because he did it in Dallas. This is just who he is. Your argument with Kellen Moore, AJ.
I tell you what he kind of reminded me of the AJ did. You remember in Rocky 5 with Tommy Gunn when he just won the championship and he's telling George Washington Duke, "Hey man, I just won the championship. And these people act like I'm some kind of a bum." That's how he kind of came across as, "Hey, we just won the game." And they're asking you, "Hey, what do y'all need to work on?
What do y'all need to work on?" Right.
Dang, I'm sort of happy because we just won our ninth game in a row. Now you ask coming to me, asking me what's wrong with us. Didn't you see we just won our ninth game in a row?
Man. It's what it is, man. And speaking of winning 9 games in a row, is Kansas City. Kansas City always has like these. You know how you got the internet guys who are going to dissect everything after week 5.
Yeah.
Every game is now that for Kansas City. So, are they good? Are they lucky? Or are they a mixture of both?
Both. They are a good team. They've learned how to win over the years. They're battle tested. So when they get to those situations like they've had, all these 1.1 score games, they're prepared to take advantage if there's luck involved. But they're also good enough to create their good fortune. I think that they have both things going for them. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're good. But what we've seen except for one game this year, they've always come out on top.
Who took that one game?
And
Buffalo.
Yeah, that's right.
That was
like it was so long ago.
No.
Can't remember.
That was Buffalo. That was Buffalo's little "we can beat these guys" moment. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Buffalo because I got a question about Buffalo. But before we get to that, KC is on that. They're on that path of we're both good and lucky, but good teams will take that luck away from us.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Buffalo is one. I kind of know your answer for this one. Who do you feel are the two teams? Well, are the teams? I shouldn't even say two. That are good enough to say Kansas City. Not today.
Buffalo can do it.
In the AFC.
Buffalo. The Steelers.
Pittsburgh. Okay.
And
I had a feeling that was a Penguin shirt.
Those are two. Because I don't believe.
You don't think Baltimore got it?
I think when it gets down to it, Lamar's butt puckers. Because every time
we grown men over here, we don't pause. His butt puckers.
Every time it gets to the nitty-gritty in the postseason or against Pittsburgh, you see him falling by the wayside. And it's once is one thing. Twice, okay. 3, 4 times. That's a pattern.
It's a pattern.
He has multiple turnovers every time, every game in the playoffs. You see what, and when he needs to take over,
he
can't or he doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's not a one-time thing. So that's why I say Buffalo and Pittsburgh can do it. And the reason we know why we say that about Buffalo. But the reason I say it about Pittsburgh is they've shown that they can win any kind of game that you have. Hey, offense can't score points. Hey, keep kicking field goals, we'll beat them. Okay. Oh, it's a shootout. Okay.
Keep thinking that.
We can do that. It's a close scoring game. We can do that. The running game's not working. Hey, air it out.
If you need me to score, Patrick Mahomes gonna do it. If you need me to get in field goal position, Patrick Mahomes gonna do it. Yeah.
So that's why I feel that Pittsburgh is able to do that, because they shown they can win any kind of fight.
Absolutely, I get it. Speaking of, we went on that. What was it? 3 Buffalo beat Kansas City, and not just this week. We saw the shootout against the Rams that Josh Allen. Was it somebody? Oh, Norm Van Brocklin or somebody? One of those old quarterbacks. 3 touchdowns. 3 passing touchdowns. 3 rushing touchdowns in the game. 6 touchdowns.
That was the first time.
Yes, in the new era of football. And
somebody had asked me who that was. It told me that was the first time that ever happened in the NFL. I would have said no, it couldn't be. I would have thought it would have been somebody way back who had like 3 little quarterback sneaks and a couple of passes. I would not have thought that Josh Allen was the first one to do that.
Yeah, we've had some 5 TD, 1 rush, 4 TD, 2 rush. You know, we've had, and somebody got like a little flea flicker. We've had those, but 3 and 3, and it has propelled. I totally believe this. It has propelled Josh Allen to be at the top of the MVP race. Personally, for Josh Allen, I don't think that's the MVP he wants. I think he wants to be an MVP of the AFC Championship game. I think he wants to be the MVP of the Super Bowl. Because the enigma that's over him is kind of beyond winning MVPs at this point. Great feat. But I gotta you could be second in MVPs and then be out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's beyond that, but I'm very proud of taking that MVP lead at this time. Very, very good stuff. Very good football. Sandlot, he pretty much showed the athlete that he was.
Yeah. Josh is one of those guys now who's saying, hey, whatever we need, whatever I need to do in order to help us win, I'm going to do it. And he does it.
And you know what? I like what you did, Josh. And all professionals are professionals. But what Tank just said, whatever it takes for us to win, you know god darn well you can't do that on every defense. Don't do it. You know the NFC West, with the exception of the San Francisco 49ers when they're healthy, and the old Seattle Seahawks. Everybody else, soft like the AFC West defense. You don't have whatever it takes. Don't be staring across from the Steelers defense, Ravens defense, You know, some tough ones out there. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's just my advice. Speaking of LA and soft, we're gonna segue on to basketball. LeBron James. I'm a Laker. Just for those of you who don't know, what's the word, man? I forgot it. But I'm a Kane. This from the old school. Kane, Cowboy, Tar Heel, Laker, Yankee. Front runner. They were all winning when I was in my formidable years. But anyway, are the Lakers sacrificing the good of the team by allowing LeBron James to dictate? Because his son is on the staff. It's like everybody else. But is he sacrificing the good of the team by allowing LeBron James to dictate, what the Lakers as an organization, or how the Lakers as an organization gets to treat their son, his son?
I think so. As a father, I can understand what he's trying to do. But as an athlete, as a player, as a teammate, dude, your boy's not ready. I don't know if he's going to ever be ready, but he doesn't. We don't need him taking up space on this roster right now. We need to be out here trying to win and get some in jail and get things going. And you need to be more concerned about us winning as opposed to making sure your son gets some playing time. I mean, 3 minutes in the game, that could be time given to somebody else who's actually going to help us win. Let him stay in the G League and develop. Why keep yanking? What are you going to do? Keep yanking him back and forth until he finally has a real good game and you say, hey, I told you he could play. I don't get it. I know football you aren't going to be able to do that. But I guess basketball, because it's a smaller roster, you can have a guy have that much influence. But I don't like the fact that they let him basically control who's going to be the coach, who's going to get drafted, who's going to play, and who's not going to play. If we ain't winning championships, your contributions outside of on the court aren't doing us any good. But I want my son to play. I want to play with my son. I don't give a flying freaky deaky about your son playing. Especially if we not winning and he not helping us win. So I think it is hurting the team.
I'm gonna ask you this, man. For those who don't know, see, I know Tank, so I kind of, when I hear him speak, I kind of got a internal. I know what you all don't know behind the scenes, and if you follow us and you follow the commentary, he says it plenty of times, so you understand where he's coming from. He's coming from. Tank is a sports purist. He's a sports purist. See me, I'm that can of Arnold Palmer, the half tea. What is it? The
half tea, half lemonade.
Half tea, half lemonade. Right. So, and it's a good drink. It's a good drink. So while Tank finna give you the full tea, I'm finna give you some lemonade because I understand both sides. And I ain't saying he doesn't, but a purist is not. A purist is only gonna see sport, and I get that. And it's the lemonade that's messing up the Lakers right now. And I'm gonna tell you why. All your food delivery needs, make sure you go to Light Snack. That's LYTE snack.com. And make sure for all your deliveries, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you visit Light Snack and they'll deliver it right to your door. And make sure when you get those deliveries, make sure you're ordering those Magic City wings. And remember, their motto, don't forget to lick the sauce. When y'all saw that $102,000 jersey that they took off and make all that money when they both played in that game, when y'all saw Bronny jersey sales be #1 for that week in the revenue, and y'all saw the gate, and y'all eyes popped open, that was lemonade. That was lemonade. Sugar, y'all were drinking the lemonade. Not saying tea don't have sugar in it too, but that was the lemonade. and y'all allow the sport to overtake the revenue. And don't get me wrong, Dr. Bus is of that Al Davis, Jerry Steinbrenner, Jerry Jones mold, and he built that team off revenue. But they also had some T in there with the winning and the pure basketball. And now it's just lemonade. And when you all saw that revenue come in, Bron saw it, and you are allowing Bron's influence in the NBA, in sport, and now that those revenues, he dictating off money. That's what it is. It's money. Who else on that bus? Who else in that hotel in the G League, on the G League squad, selling like that? Yeah, my son deserves such and such treatment. Not just because he's my son, but the money says it. You know what, man? Let me tell you something, bro. If that shirt said Luke James, might have a different story. Let's not act like, and this is outside of the nepotism, but let's not act like this story y'all telling is not what's going on. You know, Bronny James Jr. Come on now. But so that is what it is. It's been done what it's been done. You can't allow this coddling to go on with these players, because everything really is built on the future, man. You 30, how old, Bron? 39?
39, 40.
39, 40. Yeah, you still in shape, but man, teams got to be thinking about when you 45 and on the bench. Them boys, unless your son is showing something, they're not gonna pass him the ball. They're gonna remember what was going on in the minor leagues. And no, they ain't staying at no Roach Motel, but they're gonna remember what was going on in the Roach Motel. That's when the stories get told, man. You gotta let him have that, man, because all franchises are going towards the present, but really it's the future. So Tank is right. In the purest form, it gotta end at some point. It has to end. You're taking this king thing too far, because the prince just ain't go easy. You can't. The king, he's not gonna be prince, man.
If he doesn't pan out, it's fine. It's okay. I mean, everybody's not gonna. I mean, you want him to make it, but if he doesn't, he doesn't. It's not the end of the world. It's not like that's all he has the opportunity to do in life. So
absolutely. And you know what, man? I hate to be giving myself shout outs, but taking from the words of my main man Snoop Dogg, I like to thank me. I want to thank me for using the word king and prince all in the same sentence. I always figure out a way, right? Because was Prince, like somebody asked me, and you know where I'm going, Prince or Michael Jackson? And I always say two different animals. It's Prince and Rick James. It's Prince and R. Kelly. It's Prince Isaac Hayes, you know. And that's not to say Mike didn't write music. It's just another animal. And because Prince was so big, they always group him with Michael Jackson. But at any rate, my point was a versus, right? Oh, I did it again. I guess we're having a hit refresh moment. Because I mentioned Prince, I mentioned King in another context. It segued into R. Kelly. Who going through what he's going through. But Usher has been making waves He been making waves, at his concerts, eating cherries, bringing out Cisco. And someone said Usher was the king of R&B. Now, I was giving Usher his props until you did that. I'll give him king of stage show. I might even give him the prince of R&B. But I gotta ask you, Tank. I'm sorry, that was long. That was a long hit refresh moment. But while I was thinking about it, because King and Prince caught me. Do you think Usher has become the king of R&B?
I don't know, the way the music has changed these days. I don't even want to say music because most stuff not even music anymore. I don't even think that R&B is a legitimate genre, modern genre anymore.
Point taken.
Because all the stuff they put out these days. I don't. So if you want to say is he the king of R&B, you're doing it retrospectively. Now, does he have a catalog that will put him in that realm? No. He doesn't.
And shout out to my boy, because I think they be trying to argue. They be trying to bring up Usher name to argue for Chris Brown. But go ahead.
Yeah. He doesn't have a catalog. He has a very good catalog.
He got some nuclear weapons.
Yeah. He got some stuff. If he did the verses, hey, he gonna give as good as he gets. But song for song, album for album, if you're talking about R&B,
who's the king?
When I say R&B, I'm including not just the person who had a 15, 17-year run in R. Kelly. But I'm talking about people who created a genre. Someone else who I would put in there, and some people might say it's popish, but I have to put Smokey Robinson in there. This man basically created the Motown era. You look at every artist from Motown, from that all throughout the 60s, early 70s. Every one of them have a hit that was produced by Smokey. Now, Smokey, as far as King R&B, his is more from his pen than his song, so to speak, as far as him singing. But if we're going to talk R&B singing as well as his pen, it's hard to mess with R. Kelly.
Shout out to my boy Tank. Shout out to my boy Tank for giving this argument criteria. Go ahead, Tank.
Also, who else you got to put in there? That's the duo. But again, when we say R&B, a king of R&B, are we talking catalog, them singing, or music that they produce? Because Babyface is there. He doesn't have the singles and the albums in the comparison of him, but that man got over 500 million songs that he sold either that he did or he wrote for someone else.
Let's see who checked the boxes. Right? Because you said something. You kind of said something when you said Smokey, right? You said something when you said Smokey. And I'm going to look deeper into Smokey's era. Because I'm going to even go up to that Stax era and check out Isaac Hayes' pen. But that criteria, all right, hit what I'm saying when you say it's Smokey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the criteria is you do something solo, you do something for a group. Like you create these people, you write to create these people. We know Smokey was a pen behind the Temptations. We know how successful they were. We know Smokey was a pen behind the Supreme. We know Smokey Robinson and the Miracles had success. We know Smokey
had hits as a solo artist.
Motown for the most part. Like he carried them until the other boy, right? So let's say that's the criteria. There ain't too many people that got that criteria. Then you go James. James had the Mary Jane girls. Rick James had the Temptations. Rick James had Solo. Rick James wrote Eddie Murphy. Rick James upped the criteria and turned a non-talent into a hit with My Girl Wanna Party All the Time. Rick James carrying criteria. Prince. Apollonia 6. Vanity 6. Sheena Easton. Prince got his girl. He fit the girl criteria. Solo, we already know. Prince got the time.
He's got the whole Minneapolis sound.
The whole Minneapolis sound. We can say you take a city. That he fit into that Smokey Robinson criteria. R. Kelly, who we got? Changing Faces.
This how you can sum up
R. Kelly in the
R. Kelly.
announcement. R. Kelly himself. Go ahead.
You can sum R. Kelly as far as who he's got from, let's see, when the public announcement come out?
1990, because he was born in the 90s, so 1990, 89, 90.
Okay. Up until what, 2007, 2008?
No, they had one album.
No, I'm talking about just R. Kelly's stuff. That's how you can just put R. Kelly. He had a 15 to 17 year run where if it wasn't his music, him singing it, somebody else was singing it.
It's like
everybody.
Technically, R. Kelly could do a versus bald head R. Kelly versus braids R. Kelly.
Yeah.
And we don't know who will win. That boy bad. But from the criteria you're talking about, Jive Records, the Chicago sound, like
Stevie Wonder.
What girl group Stevie Wonder had?
Girl group. Stevie wrote for. No, that was Earth, Wind & Fire. I was gonna say the Emotions, but that was Earth, Wind & Fire. But as far as just his solo catalog, Stevie got hits. You can go anywhere in the world, and you can hear Stevie Wonder.
I got it. But when you mentioned that Smokey Robinson, you said something, man. Like Usher don't fit the criteria. Usher would be someone that the people were named would write for him, and he'd sing their hits.
Yeah.
Right. Chris Brown, he'd sing their hits. I think Barry White might be in there. Barry White got some writing and some hits.
Yeah.
Everybody can't fit. Like when you said Smokey Robinson, there's a criteria there that everybody don't fit into.
Everybody can't fit. Yeah.
Everybody can't fit that. You said something with Smokey. So.
No, Usher's not the king of R&B.
Oh, no.
You can call him a Duke.
What is yeah, he might be a Duke. I'll give him a Duke.
And that's not a bad thing. That's not a slight.
Lord of something.
Yeah. But
because Stevie Wonder still might be in. The name we saying Stevie Wonder might be a Duke, depending upon what the hierarchy is. I'm telling you, man.
I can't call him King R&B. And I know why they're calling him that now, because
he might be able to go out. He might be able to go out and win you a few battles.
But I mean,
he's
making that claim now. Because like I said, who else? Ain't nobody out there. But it's not like he got new stuff anyway. This tearing the charts up. It's just who else is out there?
And the thing is, if you had that in you, you would create the who else is out there.
Yeah, because
Puffy more king of R&B than Usher, because technically Puffy created, and I'm gonna say Jermaine Dupri. From a producer standpoint, even though Jermaine didn't sing himself, Puffy didn't sing himself to a degree, but they Puffy gave us Total, Jermaine Dupri gave us Escape,
Criss Cross,
Usher, they extended their talents with the criteria that you're saying Smokey Robinson basically invented. And when you start thinking of where Usher sits on their court, he's not the king.
He's not up there, no.
No, Usher.
He and
you're a very noble knight.
Yeah. For a solo male entertainer in close to the same age range as Usher. What's Usher like? 45 now?
Yeah, Usher might be pushing about 45.
About 45. So this guy's like 10 years older. But and he didn't have his longer run because he had other issues. But in his heyday, Usher couldn't touch Bobby Brown in his heyday.
We don't even want to talk about that. and shout out. Let me tell you something too. I'm going to tell you something right quick while we on this. I totally agree. And heyday to heyday with it, because I would have loved to see Confessions and Don't Be Cruel come out the same day.
Ooh, wait.
Don't Confession was a nuclear weapon, but Don't Be Cruel. I'm gonna say this though. I was looking at a timeline, right? You know, New Edition just took a residency in Vegas.
Yep. I'll be there February.
New Edition is about 5 years above time span and still able to do residency in Vegas than the Temptations were. And I'm talking about from 1983 to today. In 1964, I believe. And I think the Temptations kind of had their last where they can do a tour capability. And I'm not even talking about being older men in shape. I'm just talking about like you're in a generation where your generation is still with you. Was about 1987. You know, New Edition has withstood that test of time longer than Temptations, and New Edition could arguably be the kings.
They are. And me, I'm biased. I'm biased because I'm a NE for life. But yeah, I don't think there's a group out there that touches them for longevity, for quality of music, showmanship,
spawning
other acts. Yeah. They could have a versus amongst themselves.
They have taken the Temptations. I know we got respect because in my mind, will always get you there.
Yeah.
But New Edition, they took that one over. They reign supreme.
Yeah.
They reign supreme. But
and those are still all originals. Those are all still all originals. These aren't folks who come in and out either.
Oh yeah. And have withstood the test of time of fighting amongst each other, drugs, the label issues, all of that. Everything you can, they hit it. They got a movie too.
And one more who could make an argument for being the king.
Back to king.
Yeah. You got to give it up to Teddy Riley. That New Jazz Swing was everywhere. Michael Jackson.
Heavy D.
What it? Rex in Effect.
God. Rex in Effect. Black Street. Even reinvented himself with Black Street. A lot of people don't know the redhead kingpin. Dougie Fresh.
T-Sweat.
Okay, so Teddy Riley has a little kingdom over there now. Teddy Riley has a kingdom.
Remember he did the show. That was his first thing.
The show. Dougie Fresh.
My question
is this. Dougie Fresh, the show was what, 85, 86?
85.
So we're about 1990. Black Street on top.
97, 96.
And then Teddy Riley might be kind of fizzling out, right? From the stronghold. Is that a long stronghold in R. Kelly?
Not a longer one.
It ain't a long one.
But he's got a whole bunch of hits. That man got a.
You could easily argue, because Teddy could, and say, hey, born in the 90s, R. Kelly was Aaron Hall. You kind of took that from me a little bit. Yeah. And you got that vibe, had a New Jack Swing to it. So you could make an argument about that. But Teddy Riley, did Teddy Riley have a girl?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But Smokey, man, and Smokey's still here with us, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Had an album earlier this year called Gasms.
Hey. You know what? I might have to go back and look at this man too, Quincy Jones. When you started going kind of the producer area, R. Kelly producer too. When you start going in that little area, they were showing like the segment of Quincy, what Quincy had.
Yeah, Quincy did a lot for over 50 years.
Quincy was. So Quincy might start hitting us with some jazz.
Yeah.
That make us say, oh, my bad.
Quincy and a duo. And they were just all they were was producers. Jam and Lewis.
See,
we might have to do a show strictly on Kings.
Cause see, I'm gonna tell you something about that one. That's tough. Cause Jam and Lewis is running with arguably Babyface and the partner. I know his name. And when you look at the tree, Jam and Lewis got that new addition in there.
They got Janet.
And they got Janet. They got The Time.
Human League.
Mint Condition. Human League. They got some stuff we probably ain't even thought about. SOS Band. And then you got we know what Babyface. Exactly.
Sherelle.
We know what Babyface did. Cause Babyface stems off into Babyface gonna give you some Bobby Brown. We already discussed Babyface. But Babyface alone, did he do? Cause Babyface was with L.A. Reid.
Yeah.
From a production standpoint.
Yeah, they did Karen White.
Karen White. So we might have to put them up against the boys from Philadelphia at Stax.
Oh, they did Drew Hill. Babyface did Drew Hill.
Babyface got Drew Hill in there. That's it. Did R. Kelly have some Drew Hill in there?
He did sleeping in my bed. Sleeping in my bed. That was Drew Hill. They wrote that though.
Drew Hill wrote that. Remember who did you know who could be in this argument? Gerald Levert. Gerald Levert. I bet we dig in the Gerald Levert vault.
I get Gerald Duke.
Gerald might be a Duke. Because he had Men at Large. He got LSG in there.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Hold on. Hold on. Keith might be in there, man. Keith Sweat might be in there. Keith Sweat got some acts now.
Keith has got more out of not being able to sing any just by anybody I can think of.
I'm gonna tell you, Keith might be sitting over there. Keith might be. Have you seen The Gladiator?
No, not yet.
Okay, Gladiator. Okay, I don't know what Denzel Washington played in The Gladiator, but Keith might be one of them dudes. Like, I'm over here in my own little area. I am this high level aristocrat of the kingdom. I'm not the king, but I'm not necessarily. I don't have to do what you say. and you need my money. You know, he kind of sitting there like.
Yeah, he's like a godfather.
Yeah, he like. You come to me too. You know, Elon Musk. You know, you're Trump the president, but I don't do what you say. like Keith got him some. He fit criteria. He fed that smoking. Whew. That's tough, man. But at any rate, any last words, Tank?
I got something. We know this weekend it's gonna be the Heisman Trophy presentation, and a lot of people are saying they want Travis to win because he's a two-way player and everything. And everyone says we've never seen a two-way player like Travis. And for the athleticism, that could be true, but because I'm a history guy. And I remember seeing this guy a couple of games back. Actually, when I graduated high school, he was a senior. But I'm gonna bring up a name we probably won't hear on this show or any other show. Gordon Lockbaum from Holy Cross. He finished fifth in the Heisman and third as a junior and a senior. Now, in 1986, he rushed for 827 yards on 144 carries, caught 57 passes for 860 yards, and scored 22 touchdowns. On defense, he had 46 tackles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 interception. On special teams, 21 kickoffs for 452 yards, and in one game, he scored 6 touchdowns. And that was as a junior. And he finished fifth in the Heisman. As a senior, he rushed for 403 yards on 85 carries and caught another 77 passes for 1,152 yards, which gave him a total of 2,041 all-purpose yards and scored 22 touchdowns. And also played defense and special teams. He finished third in Heisman Trophy ballot. So that's just a little history for everyone who keeps saying we haven't seen anyone do what Travis has done. And no, he didn't do it the same caliber of competition because Holy Cross was 1AA back then. And he wasn't the athlete that Travis is as far as explosiveness and all of that. But to do what he did at a 1AA school, finishing third and fifth in the Heisman. And he was drafted by the Steelers in the ninth round.
And this is why, and this is why we know of this man.
I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all like this before we cut out. I ain't even have any last words. But I'm about to give y'all after that. This is not knocking history because I do believe in history. But let me give y'all a friendly reminder because he said, what's his name?
Gordy Lockbaum.
Mr. Lockbaum. If Mr. Lockbaum, let's just say Mr. Lockbaum played those same positions today, 2024. This would be his competition in 2024 because this is Holy Cross's 2024 football schedule. Syracuse, 42-14. That's what they beat them by. Now it gets interesting. Colgate, the man plays toothpaste. Fordham, Harvard, Lafayette, Lehigh, Bucknell, and Georgetown.
Ivy League schools.
So, basically, what was his name again?
It's Gordon Lockbaum.
Gordon Lockbaum was the thug of his time. He was the knucklehead that an Ivy League school said, "Oh, we finna get us one of them and beat everybody."
And they did.
And it worked.
Yeah.
And
So,
it worked. Oh my God!
I'm just saying that
what did he
someone
do for
else.
Pittsburgh? What did he do for Pittsburgh?
He got cut. Then he
And then
Then he went to Buffalo and he got cut there. But that's neither here nor there. I'm talking about what he did as playing offense, defense, and special teams.
And we've seen that before.
But yeah. And I'm not saying who's better or he's not. I'm not saying that he was better than Travis. But I'm saying
we've seen it before.
That someone else has done it. Because every time they bring up two-way players, they bring up Charles Woodson. They bring up some other guys who played a couple of plays. As opposed to somebody else who was playing full-time both ways, just like Travis.
So, what do you think Travis would have done for Holy Cross this year?
I don't know.
What type of numbers? Travis would have some. And remember, ladies, for all of your comfort and around-the-house wear, lingerie, comfy clothes, make sure you visit quickvisits.com. That's QUIKVISITS.com for all of your lounge wear, lingerie wear, sport wear, workout wear, athletic wear. Make sure you go to quickvisits.com. They'll be there for you, and you'll love that. I tell you. Crazy numbers.
Yeah, but still, again, this is history, and it's just
and we need somebody
who. So, but hey, it is interesting. You see, okay, somebody else has done this before, and he actually made it for Heisman Trophy consideration.
Absolutely. And what was his name again?
It's Gordy Lockbaum.
All right. And with that being said, I have no last word because I cannot top the 2-year run. I mean, that's almost
4-year starter.
2-year run for Heisman Trophy, 4-year starter, Gordy Lockbaum, which is up there with Archie Griffin and Tank Smine. At any rate, it's been a heck of a show. I want to make sure you all chime in, comment, like, share, visit my TikTok people. I love y'all. Y'all doing so well. TikTok, No Jazz Show. YouTube, No Jazz Show. Just how we're saying it. Instagram, NOJ.A.S.S. X, No Jazz Show. Like, share, comment, commit to a subscribe. We appreciate you. Tank says we're going to be the #1 show in 6 months. Let's not make him a liar. He didn't say that. But I know he feels that. But we will. I don't want to put that on him, So he said a little something different. I just added some lemonade. But at any rate, it's been a great show. Thank you all for coming out. Tank, salute these people, man.
Long live Gordy Lockbaum.
All right, have a good one. You just watched another episode of No Jazz. Follow us on YouTube at No Jazz Show. And make sure you hit us up on Twitter at No Jazz Show. Make sure you hit us up on Instagram at NOJ.A.S.S. Follow us on Facebook on our Facebook page at No Jazz Show. All right? See you soon.